met Winnie in 2011. So it's almost 14 years. And I very distinctly remember that day. It was in a hotel in Singapore. And I was leading integration of a company which my then employer had acquired. So I was working for Novartis. They acquired Alcon globally. I was leading the integration of Alcon into Novartis. So I came to Singapore and I invited all the HR leaders from both sides, from Alcon and from Novartis. And we were in a hotel, and if I'm not wrong, Winnie, it was Landmark Hotel, the meeting room. There were about 35, 40 people in the room. I was 2 days like a machine, just telling them this is what needs to happen. This is how we are going to integrate two companies coming together. I had my plans and all that. And people were anxious and nervous, which happens when the mergers happen. They were not knowing how it is going to impact them and what is going to be the outcome of the merger. And they were very quiet. And at the end of the day, one person walked up to me, and that was Winnie. And Winnie said, Atul, I'm excited about it. And I'll give my best in whatever we need to do. And I just felt a connection with Winnie. I didn't know her. She was on the Alcon side. Probably people were more anxious on that side because we were the acquiring company. And she just walked up to me and said, I don't know what it is going to look like, but I'm excited about it. And I'm going to give my best. And then Winnie started working for me. So I moved to Singapore from the US, and she started working as a part of my team. And was one of those persons who came with a big smile every morning to the office and always looking for what next, what else, what can be done. And then one day she walked up to me and said, Atul, I want to do my MBA. And I know when I started to get to know Winnie that she was going through a personal challenge in life. And I didn't know how to reassure her or how to support her. And then one day she walks up and says, I want to do my MBA. And we decided we will support Winnie to do her MBA. And then she went ahead and did her MBA and started a career journey. And since then, I've been tracking her trajectory. And every time I see Winnie dealing with personal or professional challenges, she just comes out stronger on the other end of it. And I kind of think in my own mind that when I'm faced with a challenge in life, how would I show up? When I'm faced with a surprise, something I'm not prepared for, what would I do differently? So when I need a reference, I think of Winnie. So I've been in touch with Winnie for over 14 years. I was very fortunate she joined my LEH leadership journey last year and got to meet some of my team members also when she was there. And yeah, she's a part of the family. So with that, Winnie, I'm going to hand it over to you to share your story and inspire our audience today. Winnie, over to you.
Thank you, Atul. I think I'm very humbled by what you just said and really moving to listen to what you share. And thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to share my story. I guess it's also giving me a chance to reflect on my past 50 years of life. And I realized that ever since, like what Atul has described, when I had my one-on-one with him recently, and he was describing about how he thinks of me, it never dawned on me that I was actually in other people's eye was who I am because I just keep pushing through, right? Without even thinking too much about it. And that's who I am. And I guess through this chance for me to share, and I was preparing my slide, that's when I realized that, oh, I didn't realize that I actually gone that far and done so much things. And I also realized there was a consistent pattern in the way I deal with the challenges and also pushing the boundaries of whatever I believed in it and keep pushing for it. So I guess I hope the next 15 minutes I'm able to, concise my 52 years of life into the 15 minutes of summary as much as I can. So next slide, please. Thank you. So this is a little bit about my childhood. I'll go with the middle photo where that's my family. So I'm the eldest in my family with two younger brother. So the reason why I put this, I had a laugh when I was asking my mom for this photograph because when we were young, we don't have many photographs with us. So when I looked at this, it bring back so much memories about how naughty I was, how rebellious I was. I was labeled as a rebellious kid throughout my whole childhood, even in school as well. The reason being, every time my mom would ask me to do something, I will always do something different because I was just defying for the sake of defying. I don't know why, but that's how I am. And because in the traditional family, growing up, being the eldest and also being the daughter, they will always think that I should be the one looking after the family and start doing housework, which I hated. So I don't want to take that responsibility at such a young age. So I always challenge them. But my mom obviously doesn't want to give me any explanation, and she would just punish me for not listening to her. But nevertheless, so I grew up so I born in Singapore, but I grew up a few years in Malaysia because my father works for my grandfather who's in Malaysia. Then when I was about to go to school, that's why I'll bring you to the left side of the photographs where I had my 1-year-old photograph with my grandma, and she's somebody very close to my heart. She's almost like a mother to me, to be honest, because when I was born, she's only 46 years old. So she doted on me so much. And when I was about to go to school, my mom sent me to Singapore, back to Singapore to live with her. And that's why she cared for me until I reunite back with my family later part when they all moved back to Singapore. So unfortunately, she passed away when I was 15 years old due to cervical cancer. She's somebody who was my role model and my only role model in my life, where she's very nurturing, such a big heart, willing to help anybody who's in need of help. She's a great cook. So there's a lot of traits that I actually picked that up from her. So she's somebody I don't talk very much of because every time I talk about her, I get very emotional because she left me too early. She's probably one of the regret I have in my life that I was not able to look after her when she grew older. So then the photo on the right, it's my family now, of course, with my two brothers, Daniel and Roddy. Roddy is married with my sister-in-law and also my little niece. She's 10 years old now. And my son in the middle, he's now 27. So, and that's a little bit about my family. Going to the next slide. So this is me in school. Again, while I said Winnie in the making, because the mischievous of me continues, the rebellious side continues. That's what the teacher says as well. I'm very talkative in class, and that's what written in my report card all the time. The reason why I'm very talkative and also very showy in the way in school is because I stand firm on what I believed in. So if the school were to tell me, the teacher were to tell me to do something which I don't agree, I will stand on behalf of the class to say, no, we don't agree. We will do something different. So I always get into trouble. My parents have to come and see the principal sometimes. So that's basically who I am. And I think that didn't change since I'm a child until now. And I'm very grateful for this class that you see in this until today, after 30 plus year. Most of them, we're still in touch. So one of the things I realized that I've stick to it since as a child, even though my mom has always given me the responsibility to look after my sibling, I'm now the one that actually quietly look after the entire family, connects everybody together, even my extended family, my uncle's family as well, because I cherish every single relationship that comes my way. And that's how I want to cherish them and keep them close to me as much as I can. So, and I want to highlight the school motto, true to self. And so coincidentally, that was actually picked by the student, by the way. So the school is brand new when I started. So the principal allowed us to design our uniform and also design and also suggest our school motto. And that's how we finally decided that true to self is where we want to be. So yeah, so and until today, I'm still following this school motto as part of my life journey. Next slide, please. So this is going to be a little bit busy slide, but I'm going to try my best to concise it within 5 minutes. So I started with the company from left to right is where I've been working since 1992 until now. I would highlight four main a few companies that I truly learned a lot in terms of building my resilience, courage, and growth as well. The first company is Carl Zeiss. It's a German surgical device company. And this company, I've stayed there for 9 years. This one has gone through the journey, my life journey from me being single to getting married at the age of 24, have my son at 25, divorced at 28, and got two promotion. And I've roles that was newly created, and in a very challenging position as well, whereby they promoted me to a role and expect me to take on part of the responsibility, where they actually got rid of the regional service manager. And I was tasked to run the initiative of designing the CRM, the customer relations program for Southeast Asia. And I was then only a regional administrator. So I'm somebody who decides that no, title is not important. If this is given to me, I would take it on and fight the battle, even if I have to deal with senior leaders who disagree with me. By all means, go ahead and let's try doing it. So I would say that I owe that to my own courage. I don't know whether I think I get myself into trouble most of the time, but it is what it is. So that's being difficult to deal with, when you have to go through being a first-time mother at such a young age. Then you have to go through a divorce, and yet at the same time going through the change in your career. It has been pretty much I don't even remember most of what I did during those 9 years. But yeah, I survived through and I did well. I'm glad. That was my non-HR career. Then that's when I moved on to Goider, a startup company. Then I moved to Alcon. That's where I met Atul as well. I started Alcon in 2008, a non-HR person. At a chance of 2010, there was a newly created headcount for a HR administrator for South Asia cluster. And that's at that time, my first boss was Sita. He was leading the HR team. He actually came to me and said, Winnie, would you like to join me? And I asked him, I said, although my first reaction was, I was not excited, but I actually asked him, why did you pick me? Because I don't have HR experience, especially when I know he's overwhelmed with a lot of work. And it was so difficult for him to get this headcount. I say, you should have gotten somebody who has experience. I was trying to convince him to not select me. But what he said to me resonate with me until today, as how I coach my my direct reports as well along this all these years, is that he says, Winnie, you have a lot of transferable skill that is behavior related that I cannot coach. But the technical skill in HR is something that I can teach you. I can send you to the class and learn something. So that's how I started taking a certification in HR with Sita, sponsored by him. And then came Atu when the Watis acquired us, and I have to help with relocating the team. And that was my first taste of transformation. And it was really a lot of bad vibes and sentiments flying around. And I was still a very junior HR person, but I do my best, whatever I can, to help to calm everybody down, to move everybody from an industrial area into a high-end location, co-locate with Novartis. And Atu came to me and said, Winnie, I in a regional role, because my role then was in between a local HR versus a regional HR. And of course, I don't have enough experience at the time. And he said to me, I only have executive assistant's position at that time. I go like, Atu, I don't want to be a secretary. That was 10 years ago. I can't go back there again. And he says, Winnie, I know Sita has briefed me. I know you are in a development journey. Let me see what I can do. So we agreed. In fact, we actually had a discussion. He said, I will still have this role, but I will be doing a lot of confidential work, which I will personally coach you on. You can help me and you can learn at the same time. At the same time, I also create mini projects for you to lead so that you can continue your development journey. And of course, like what he said, he has also agreed to let me continue my studies all the way to where I graduate and get my degree. So these are opportunities that come my way. It's very tough when when Atu left Alcon, then Vic came on from Novartis, take on the role. I have a new boss again. I have to readjust to a new person. My little number of years with HR, I have three different bosses in less than 5 years. So I have to adjust to a new person. And I was promoted in 2014 as a HR manager, leading a small team, managing Singapore and Indonesia. But interestingly, I was also taking my degree at the same year. So literally, I was traveling between Singapore and Jakarta every other week, studying at the same time, doing my assignment on the plane and in the hotel when I finished my entire course. So I don't know how I survived, but I made it. I passed all the subjects. I didn't have to repeat. So that's blessing in disguise, I would say. A lot of my roles in my career has always been newly created. And I think there's always this startup mindset of if the task is given to me, I will do whatever I can to find my way. I don't have a predecessor to fall back on, and I have to craft my way out. Then moving into Fresenius, again, I was hired because the attrition rate was very high, and I have to find a way to be able to bring down the attrition rate in the nursing business. And in 18 months, going through 300 employee headcount, I got an APCO award for bringing the headcount down quite significantly, and the business starts to improve. So I guess in whatever way we can do, I believe that again, if we are given this responsibility and you are accountable for it, I think whatever we can, we'll find a way to get it done. So that's how, and through this whole journey in Alcon and Fresenius, I've been through a lot of global transformation, and that also prompted me of why I set up my business in as Genesis, because so many people suffer through this transformation. They don't know how to pick themselves up. They stress themselves, and they actually went through the journey of burnout as well. And I hope that whatever I can do to help corporate in helping this group of employees to be able to build up their self-leadership care in order to be able to do well in by looking after themselves rather than rely on the company. And every company we go to, we were going to face the same problem, as you can see from where I described all my career. So these are the times where you actually take control of your own life and you decide what you want to do. And moving on, then that's when I'm going to talk a little bit about my motherhood and also my climbing. So next slide, please. So where I found the strength in motherhood. So again, it's a lot of trial and error. Being, a young mother at the age of 24. My son was born when I was 25, and I was still trying to figure out a way of how to be a good mother. And being a kid myself, I would say my mother helps me a lot. I was very thankful. And fast forward now, I'm very grateful that, he has grew up healthy and fine. And yeah, that's actually creates, and one of the main challenge I gone through this with Dylan is that he's pretty much affected by the divorce. And especially he's a very sensitive child. His every time he feels uncomfortable with something, is unhappy or have any negative thought, he keeps it to himself. He doesn't like to share with anyone. So it makes it very difficult for me to communicate with him. So I was trying all my ways to communicate and try to find solutions for him. He was one of the hardest thing that, I would say that I do, and I'm glad that we rise above it. We went for counseling as a family counseling. We are able to uncover some of the challenges that he faced and how I can explain my position of why, the father and mother has to divorce and how we continue to love him. And I guess he understood finally, and we were able to, build a good relationship after that. And I'm glad that, we have a very close bond through this journey that we figured out somehow. So that's a little bit of that motherhood of my journey. And then next slide, please. Of course, this will be my most passionate one, as a lot of people would see it online. I started my hiking since year 2000, but I've never taken it really seriously until after COVID, in 2022. So, and of course, when people look at my mountain climbing journey, people only see photographs that, I take at the summit. It's a glamorous journey for probably 5 minutes where everybody congratulate you, but it takes one whole year to train to get to where I am. So it's a lot of hardship, training, getting ready for it, not just physically, but mentally, especially the last one that I recently did, because it's so high. It's the first time I attend above 6,000. It come to a point where your body got so exhausted and you are 500 meters away, and in the mountain, 500 meters can take 3 to 6 hours. So with very low oxygen, very cold, -20, you got to figure out a way how you push through that 500 meters to get on top of the peak. And of course, those photographs that I took on overcoming setback is where through this journey from 22 to 2025, I actually recover from different medical interventions in order to get myself ready for the next climb. So, yep, so that's basically what I do. And I don't want to give up, and I want to keep pushing if I can. So my goal is to push myself to get to 8,000 eventually, but I don't know how long I'm going to take, but I will keep moving on. So that's basically how I would do it in whatever I'm passionate about. Next slide, please. Of course, I strongly believe on personal values, and these are the things that stays very close to me. Integrity has been something that's very close to me since I was young. And I think during my humanity leadership program, during one of our online session, we have to talk about when we first started our career, what we actually want to be. I don't know whether Atu, you remember, and we had a good laugh within the team when I put there, I actually almost become a prison warden. And Atu's question to the team was, can you see Winnie in the uniform as of today? Everybody say yes. It was so funny. And I never thought that people would think of me that way. But I feel very strongly when there's injustice, whether at work or at personal life, and I'll push for it if something has gone wrong. And I will always ask for clarity in order for me to move on to do something else, because I can't do things without, clarity. So strength is one I explained throughout my whole life and journey, and how I actually built strength over the years. I think that courage comes when you build confidence bit by bit. It doesn't come naturally. There's always times where I actually feel like giving up, especially now in my new business, when you see you don't have a regular income, and your bank account is depleting, your money is depleting. It's actually very nervous. And I actually sometimes feel like I wanted to give it up, but I believe something good will come. So I would usually change the way how I think. If something negative happens to me, I would take a step back and look at it and say, look, the reason why you picked this is because of 1, 2, 3 reasons. Have you already fulfilled all this? If not, then let's look at other ways to see how we can get it done. So that's where I am right now. And to me, I continue to push with the values that I believed in. Final slide. I would end the slides with, that's exactly how I feel. I feel that there are moments where we always had setback, and resilience is not about somebody just appearing strong. We are not unshakable. We need to feel that sometimes we are vulnerable. We need to feel that sometimes we are sad. It's okay, but we don't get ourselves spiral downwards. As much as possible, we want to rise above with greater clarity, so that we build courage, and we strongly believe. If we strongly believe what we believe in what we want to achieve, the strength will come. And again, as I've also mentioned, sometimes I also went through mental health in terms of setbacks as well, where it affects me a great deal at my personal life. At the point where sometimes where you are not able to find solution on your own, it's important we ask for help. So and for me, I actually seek counseling, and with the counselor support, I was able to see the picture a lot clearer, and I was able to get out of it quickly and rebuild the way I look at things. So these are the things that I continue to do, evolving, and hopefully that gives you a bit of that glimpse of who I am. Thank you.
Wow, Winnie, you continue to inspire. I mean, many conversations like this I've had, both formal and informal with you, but I think every time, every moment, uh, when you share about yourself and your journey, so one, it comes from your heart. One can almost feel and connect with it. And two, it continues to inspire because, as I mentioned earlier, your mindset or your attitude of giving your best, no matter what situation or what life serves to you, It's the choice you make how you want to show up. So thank you for sharing such a compelling, such an inspirational story this morning.
Thank you.
So I'm first going to ask the audience, as I mentioned earlier, a reminder, it's your session. Make sure your questions are addressed by Winnie. It's a great opportunity to bring up anything in your mind. I think all of us have those turbulences, situations which put us on the crossroads. What do I do when I'm dealing and faced with a situation like that? If you want to bring it up, please put it in the dialog box or just raise your hand and we'll get you off. So, Vinny, one thing which truly and deeply struck with me is what you just said towards the end of your conversation on courage. There is almost a fallacy to say that people are, uh, inborn courageous or they have an attitude which is developed in a certain way. You said it comes bit by bit. So building your confidence every day, little steps, which gives you that courage to go and deal with the surprises which the life serves to us. Such a powerful statement, and you brought it to life through your story in a very meaningful way. So I'll start with my question, and then I'm going to open up to the audience. I see a couple of questions are already coming up. So the first one is, you talked about looking at the positive side of things when things are not going in the right way. How do you choose to show up in a certain way? But having gone through my own life experiences for a very long time, it's not that easy. So when you get up in the morning and you feel, oh my God, why this is happening the way it is happening? Why me? You got to remind yourself that yes, there are probably another chance, another way of doing it. So, what helped you to nurture that attitude or that mindset that I will not be disappointed or taken aback or pushed back by surprises? I will look at that one little hope which will pull me out of it. So, how did you nurture that attitude or mindset?
I like that question because I ask myself this almost every other day. Some people might think it's a bit idealistic, but I always have a good hope of people and also my surrounding. And I always believe we create the environment, not the environment shape us. So for example, the mountains is always there, but the weather changes. I can't control that. But what I can do is to make sure that I prepare myself physically and mentally to deal with things that's going to happen. So I usually likes to anticipate what could possibly happen. And it might not happen, but it's okay to at least prepare for it. So I usually likes to plan to have the big picture. Then I go with small little steps of how I can focus on those things. So the big picture may take a year or more than that to get it done. And we have to be realistic of how much we can achieve. So step by step, if you every little milestone that you create and you can achieve it, right, and tick the box, for example, you know that you are closer to your goal. So that is to help to build the positivity.
Well said, very well said. In fact, there's a very kind of related question which is coming up from Amitabh. Amitabh, can I request you to come off mute and share your question with Vinny?
Sure. Thanks, Atul. Super inspiring, Vinny. Thank you for the time and to talk to us through your life journey. It's amazing and beautifully told as well. Uh,
Thank
just
you.
a quick question. I think it was related, like Atul said. When you have those dark moments, we all have those dark moments where we think we can't get out, and the chatter is just reinforcing everything. People around you are reinforcing. Chat GPT is reinforcing. Uh, uh,
Yes.
those dark moments, how do you pull yourself out, or what are the triggers
Mm.
that kind of you latch on to help pull yourself out? Yeah, so that was my
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I just had that recently, so I can tell you what exactly happened. So as I'm first time entrepreneur. I started the business in January. So I know quickly that, in order for me to earn that amount of money, I had to set goals, right? So we know we can't immediately achieve this number. So I decided I create a small milestone. So every quarter I set a goal. So I know at quarter one, realistically, this is what I need to achieve. Come quarter three, I was supposed to earn X amount of money, but that didn't happen, freaked me out big time. And I was really spiraling. And I remember very vividly, I told Atu, I said, I want to give up. I feel like giving up already because my money is going down and I don't know what else I can do to make to think of something else. And Atu said, Winnie, don't worry. You know, I'm following you and you are doing everything you have done is correct. So you just need to persevere. So I guess it's so much of, then I took a pause. I decided that, hey, you know, rather than keep fixated by that milestone that I've created maybe 9 months ago, maybe I should relook at it again. So because you have done so much work in the last 6 months, I'm sure there's something that you can do differently in order to create the momentum. So, and that's what I did. I was so stressed. I kid you not, it was so stressed to a point where I wanted to give up. And so I decided to take a step back and I relook at the whole thing and I say, I'm networking well. I'm really, doing XYZ well. So where can I get? So I'm glad I stick to it because now it's November. I'm going to likely to close a big deal at the end of December. So, things like this, we need to take a pause and we have to be conscious about us spiraling downwards. Then it will work. And also speak to the right people. So I have Atu, of course. So you can always speak to somebody who can create that positive vibes to you. Don't talk to someone who will agrees with you when you are negative. So in that way, right, it will actually makes it worse for you.
And don't talk to ChatGPT.
Yeah, don't talk to ChatGPT.
Well, thank you, Amitabh.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Great question. And what an amazing response, Vinny. Thanks very much. And it's a great reminder for all of us. I think the question was from Amitabh, but I think all of us in our lives and journeys are faced with those situations. And those little reminders, little nudges can make the difference. I have another great question here, and this is from Krishna. Krishna, can I request you to come off mute and ask your question to Vinny?
Yes. Yes. Am I visible now, audible now?
You're audible, yes.
Vinny, thank you so much. Thank you. It's lovely to hear you and so grateful for meeting you online. My question is, and you have a mountain example, a mountain behind you, gratefulness or ungratefulness, it sort of becomes bigger and bigger as time passes by if we nurture it. So how do we move from and it's easy to be grateful when things are going well, when the weather is nice and you get a promotion or you meet with
Yeah.
successes. However, there are times, and it is with everyone, that things do not go as you want them at that point of time. And that's the time when it's sort of you become cynical or ungrateful. So how did you uh, move that and move to a place wherein you're grateful and graceful and you face life as it comes? What small shifts do you make in your day-to-day life that has helped you to do that?
Wow, it's quite a big question. I've tried my best to answer. To be honest, I think now I appreciate, I think through my humanity leadership course, one of the things that I've self-committed and I stick to it until today is on self-care. So I noticed that in the past, I always focus on others because I'm always there to solve somebody's problem, but I never look internally. And when ungrateful, or you call it ungrateful, or you call something not so great happens in your life, you need to start thinking what you have done well and start appreciating that. Because I've come that far, like I said, I've come that far. I can't discount the fact that I've survived through the divorce, all that comes, right? That's the gratefulness you have to see in yourself. And then that's in any human being as well, to be honest. When I'm a HR business partner for APAC region, I met a few leaders that sometimes I feel, why are they behaving a certain way? And it can drive me nuts, to be honest. But I always think that there's any human being, there's always good about a person. I always feel there's a part of the person is always good. Let's dig deeper. So this is what I typically would do. And I will try and then re-engage with the person again and try to ask different questions to find that goodness in that person. So when you start to be appreciative, then your life will be a lot easier. I hope that helps.
Yep. Yes, it does. It's very authentic answer.
Thank you, Krishna.
Amazing. Thanks very much. Thanks, Winnie. Next, I'm going to go with one of my questions and then I'll come back to the audience because I see a couple more coming in. So, my question is, and I have, by the way, a bit of a line of sight, not a whole lot, but a bit of a line of sight to your life journey, Winnie. And as I said, you continue to inspire. Out of multiple challenges, personal, professional, including health, uh,
Mm.
you know, climbing mountains when your body is telling you probably it's hard, and maybe other people telling you don't do it, it could damage you, and you're still making a choice and preparing for it and going for it. If you had to pick one challenge, Winnie, which was really complex and tough, and you still decided to lean into that, what was that challenge, and what made you make that choice to lean into that challenge?
Wow. It's going to take me an hour to think about what is that for me?
Our probably not try to make it big.
But I would joke aside, but I think there's quite a few, to be honest, but I would really think balancing the family situation and still doing well in my job. I think that's probably the biggest challenge I'm facing. And I mentioned what I didn't mention was the time when I was with Fresenius. Um, I was facing some personal issue, which it drags on for like 2, 3 years, and it really affects my mental health. And and at the same time, the company was demanding that, I turn the things around, rebuilding the culture and bring down the attrition rate. So I was literally juggling and trying to be a HR person at home, at work as well. So it come to a point where I almost fell apart. Seriously, that to a point where I never thought I would get that far. And that's why I decided to go to the counselor and ask for help and to really put things on the table and say, no, help me to dissect this information and see how I can look at it in a different light. And I start to appreciate things in a different way, and also the people that involves in these issues. And I start to see why the person behaves certain way. Despite that, at that very moment on surface, it just looked really bad. But then you start to appreciate, then you actually calm down a lot more. So when you are calmed, I was able to then look at information in a very different way, in different light as well. And I was able to make more sound decision to push over the challenges. And once everything is settled, then life goes on.
Wow. Vinny, I mean, so nicely and so eloquently put by you. Seeking help is an act of courage. And I think our bodies and our minds tell us that when we need help. And many times our inner kind of support system or inner resilience system start to fight back and start to tell us need to keep going. But I think
Yeah.
building that awareness and, as I said, seeking help is probably one of the biggest act of courage. When you think you need help, reaching out to people, acknowledging you need help and seeking help and getting back on track. Kudos to you, hats off to you. And I think it's a message for the broader audience too. Never push yourself into a situation where you feel so kind of cornered. You feel that I can't come out of it. Go out and seek help is exactly the right thing to do. So thanks for that response. Then I'm going to go to my good friend Lalit. He asked actually the first question, and your good friend too.
Yes, my lovely friend.
So Lalit, can you come off mute and bring up your question, please?
Hi, Atul. Hi, Winnie. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Lalit.
Hi. Basically, my question is related to the questions that have already been asked. Basically, when you reach a point where you say that this is too tough for me, I can't go on. What is it that you tell yourself that pushes you to start all over again and get yourself going again?
I wouldn't say we would start all over again. But I would say we change the way we do things. I would say that because sometimes, right, a lot of people is afraid to change because they think that whatever effort I've done is gone to waste. And if I were to change, means I have to restart everything. But if you think carefully, the effort doesn't really go to waste. You still build certain level of foundation. So what you need to leverage on this information and how to change your path and go the other way to continue to build it. So it's just what we don't want to do is to blindly keep following one path without checking in, follow up to see whether or not are we on the right track. So like how I just mentioned about my business building up, right? If I were to insist that I need to earn that amount of money by this certain time, I'm going to be very miserable. And it's not going to help anybody or helping me to make a sound decision what I'm going to continue to do in 2026. So I decided that, hey, this is not going anywhere. I had to take a pause and relook at the whole plan. How can I do things differently? So the effort is still there because I've built the network. So I leverage on what I already have and then just change the route a little bit. So kind of gone to the sleep route rather than, complete different direction altogether.
Oh, wonderful. That is so inspiring.
Thank you, Lalit.
Thanks, Lalit. Thanks, Winnie. Next, I'm going to ask Akbar. Akbar, you can come off mute and ask your question to Winnie, please.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm a student from India. Yesterday I have seen this post on LinkedIn, so I have I should also join. So my question is to Winnie. First of all, thanks to you. You have shared it, your inspiring life journey. It's very informative also. My question is how we stay positive and with along with consistent. I have seen, and it's very tough for many people, including me, to stay positive and to do our work or daily routines or in our life to do any work consistently, to keep consistency on the life. And maybe someone have, for me, the procrastination is a silent killer. Because through procrastination, we cannot do our work inconsistently. So my question is, how can we stay positive with consistency to achieve our targets? That's my question.
Thank you, Abba. So honestly speaking, I'm also a big fan of procrastination. So I'm not unique. And I would say that, we can't be positive all the time. Then something is not right with us as well. It's okay not to be positive. I think that's what people needs to acknowledge. We tend to always think that, oh, how can this person be so positive? Yes, you look the great side of me, but you haven't seen the dark side of me because I hide it in the closet. So I think how I actually come out from it is really around, like I told you, you can see the story that I mentioned. Consistently, there's a pattern whereby I always take pauses. When something goes wrong, I'm conscious about it. If I procrastinate, it's okay, but don't go too far and too long. So don't stay in that mode for too long. If you are stuck, get somebody who can give you a different viewpoint to help you out of this mess. So that's how I would ask for help. Then if you feel that you can fix your own problem, what you need to do is to step back and look at your own, what you have created and see how you can dissect those information. So a lot of people that I notice, they don't know how to connect the dot. They like to build problem over one another. So you actually have the original problem, but they will think that if I were to do this, I branch out with another problem, and then this will stack on top of it and another one. You shouldn't do that, because if you do that, you actually complicate the whole thing. That's how procrastination works, right? So what we want to do is to look at the main root cause of the issue before we go further. So that's what I would take small step, then the consistency will come.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Akbar, for a great question. Thanks, Winnie. Amazing response, like always. Next, I'm going to go to my friend Kathy, who's joining us from Toronto. Kathy, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Atul, for the session, and Winnie, nice to meet you. My question is, you talked about your school model, true to self, and it seems to shine throughout your story you shared. How do you stay true to yourself when there are so many competing expectations and thoughts, whether both personally and professionally, from both yourself and others on yourself?
Thank you, Kathy. So how do I stick to it? So I believe in one thing, that I want to do things even when I want to do the right thing when even someone's not looking, because I don't want to just do it because someone dictates that I need to show my integrity or whatsoever. It's important to, if you're consistent in your action and approach and your mindset, whether or not you do it on your own in hiding in a room or versus in front of 10,000 people, it should be no different. If you are, that's how you show up the right way. And and as you can see from my personal value, I'm very strong in the three areas. And since my childhood until now, I stick to it. And if I believe in what I believed in, I will not change my mind.
Fabulous.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Betty.
Thanks, Winnie. Next, I'm going to go to Shalini. Shalini, you can come off mute and ask your question to Winnie.
Thanks, Atul. Winnie, thanks so much. That's been a really candid sharing. I actually had two questions. I'll try to condense them. One is a bit of a segue to something that you already mentioned in terms of taking a different path of sorts, right? Like if, or changing direction a little. So I would take that to mean that you're recalibrating your milestone a little as well. So when you're doing that, there's a context probably in terms of the mountain as well as your professional journey of the revenue target that you had. So, how do you just take the emotion out of it and kind of, how do you go about practically saying this is the new milestone or this is the new direction that you're kind of looking to target, considering the information you've gained in the case of the business, the 9 months time you've spent. The second question I had, because I think it's a very taboo topic in India, but it's a very interesting topic that you touched upon in terms of mental health and seeking help. So I think if you could just, there's one part of course, a long drawn process of working with a counselor and a therapist, or as the case may be, in terms of strengthening yourself. But if there's any tool, anything that something as simple as maybe even journaling, if there's anything that you thought really helped you guide yourself better, keep peace better, less stress-free, would really love to hear those as well.
Sure. Thanks, Shalini. So I will answer the questions on twofold. One from a corporate point of view. When you mentioned about me building up the business and change my milestone, I think we need to also have a realistic view of things, right? So like I said, I set a target I can't fulfill, and that's stressing over it, right? And I ask myself, is it realistic? Because you just done this for 6 months and you expect by 9 months you will earn this X amount of dollar. So that's a self-talk. So I literally talk to myself and to have the dialogue within myself. And then I realized that by putting the numbers down, and this is something that I notice of myself, because in the past, I don't like numbers. I'm a people person. I don't really like numbers. But now I start to appreciate how data can help me to see the picture in a better way. So I start putting my numbers down and how I envision, and even all my bank account as well. So putting everything together, then I will know realistically how much I should be earning enough for me to survive, so that to the bare minimum, I need to get to where I am. So, and when I do that, then I don't think so much of the profit yet, but for survival's sake. So the same approach I apply for my mountain. So if I were to look at this mountain that I just climbed, which is 6,400, I was meant to go to another one that's called Island Peak, 6,100. That was my goal initially. I decided to go higher, but less technical. So through conversations with, of course, mountaineering friend, and analyze what is the pros and cons, and what's based on my past experience, how do you think I can achieve that particular peak, for example. So through all this research and analysis and talking to different people, that's how I decided to change the mountain that I selected eventually. And because my goal was to focus on the elevation, at the same time, just to get experience on the mountaineering world, because in the past I was just trekking. Now I'm ready to have a taste of mountaineering. In future, if I were to go higher, what should I be preparing physically and mentally, and also the gears and everything else as well. So I decided to go less technical, but focus on the experience before I learned the technical part of the mountaineering. So that's how I changed my view, but still achieving what I want to achieve.
Great. Well said, Winnie. I have one more question and then I want to wrap up. It's been such an amazing conversation that time just flew by. Stanzin, I'm coming to you. Can you come off mute and bring up your question?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Vinny. Thank you for being with us today. So my question was, I think, partly already answered with Kathy's question, right? So my question is also based on, like, how do you deal with the conflict of interest, especially in your professional life or in personal life? So because asking this, because you have, like, as you said, you have always been a rebellious kid and someone with a very strong opinion. Right. So one of your core values is integrity. So being true to yourself. So, and you are very, strong about it. So when you face with a conflict of interest, so how do you deal with it? So as to not that disappoint other person also, or keep their wishes also, respect their wishes as well. So how do you deal with it? Like, have you ever had, such a challenge, and how did you deal with it? That's it. Thank you.
I love this question because I dealt with it all the time at work. So I would say, let me say it this way. When I joined this one company, I don't want to mention the company name because otherwise it get complicated. When I joined this company, they are not used to having HR challenging them. So, and these are very senior leaders that I'm talking about, right? Has been with the company for 15, 20 years. They're so used to a certain pattern. And when I came in, of course, I came with a very different view that I'm a HR business partner. The reason why you hired me is because I'm a strategic partner. So obviously we should make changes, right? Otherwise, what's the point of hiring me? And they start dictating what I need to do. And I said, this is not working. If you are going to hire me to do something, to change something, you're not going to come and tell me what I need to do. And they're not happy when I tell them you're not supposed to do certain thing. So what I did was, the first few months, of course, I don't know them well, and I really struggled, to be honest. But then I start to, again, I take a pause and I say, let me understand where he's coming from. So when I understand him from his perspective, the empathy comes in. Then I actually would influence him based on what he wants, that without compromising my integrity. So I need to do what I need to do, but I need to convince him with his lens. So that's how I manage these leaders.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Right. What an amazing conversation, Winnie. So before I formally thank you, I'm going to ask my team to bring up the slides because we are going to now talk about our next phase of LEH dialogues. So first, to everyone who joined the conversation today, as I said, my heartfelt gratitude to you to be here today and to listen to Winnie's inspirational story. So with this dialogue, we are bringing to an end our Game Changer series. And come January, we are going to launch our Trendsetter series. Trendsetter series is going to bring another set of guests who are just challenging the boundaries, pushing the boundaries into future. So we have been learning a lot from people who've done well in their lives and what we can get inspired from. We are now bringing in a series which will unfold or bring in guests who will be shaping the future of the world to come. So if we move the next slide, please, we already have our two next guests who are identified. In January, we are going to have Carolyn Basin, who is the Chief Digital Officer of Adaco. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, and she's leading IT revolution in one of the largest corporations in the world, shaping the world of technology and AI. So looking forward to having Caroline in January. And my good friend, our advisory board member, but someone who's connecting the dots between technology and humanity, a guy who just became one of the best-selling authors, Marcelo De Santis, also a mountaineer like Winnie. So he's going to be our guest in March. So keep following and stay connected and keep supporting our dialogues. I mean, we want to inspire you with stories like that of Winnie. So I appreciate all the support. And with that, Winnie, my deepest gratitude for being who you are. Of course, I mean, I can take you for granted. I can call you to my dialogues. I know you will never say no to me. But I think my gratitude is for the person you are, always positive, always inspirational, not shying away from acknowledging what is not working, always leaning into what is possible, and always giving that assurance, which I always got when working with you. I'll give my best. So Winnie, you did give your best today. And thank you so much for inspiring us. And
Thank you, Atul. Thank you.
thanks
Thank you,
for
everyone.
audience.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye.